Hi, Lauren from Wildflowers here, introducing to you the holiday collection of MicroLite glitters. The MicroLite glitters are blends of micro holographic glitter with iridescent glitter. So it's a beautiful blend. You get all kinds of sparkle. It comes in 5 beautiful colors, and I can't wait to show you how to use them. I'm going to be demonstrating 5 different nails, and what I did first was just coat the nail with CND shellac. I use a lot of different brands of product, and I like a lot of different brands of product, but one of the reasons why I choose to use shellac when I'm doing this type of technique is because it has a pretty awesome tacky layer, and every single color has the same tacky layer, so there's never any surprises. My clients pick out whatever color they want, and then we grab whatever glitter, and it works every single time with every single color. So that's why I love to use this particular product for this type of technique. So I already have one coat on the nails. I'm just going ahead with a second coat of product. And this is going to give me a nice strong color foundation for the background. Now you want to have a nice solid color because these glitters are partly transparent. So you have the holographic micro that's opaque, but you also have a transparent element. So the color that you put underneath is going to definitely make an impact on the final color. So here I'm using Garland, which is going to make the most beautiful emerald color because I chose to put it over a light green. So it's just going to lighten it up slightly. And I'm just using a big fluffy dry brush to pat the glitter onto the surface. And then I'm going to use my finger to sort of press it down to help get rid of any little bumps. And then I'm going to take my brush and just dust off any excess. And this is going to help keep my top coat brush nice and clean when I go to coat it. Next is Tinsel. Tinsel is an amazing holographic silver mixed with a little bit of iridescent. So same technique, I'm just going to press my brush into it and pat this on the nail. Now I'm going to show you in just a second how to do an ombre look, but this glitter looks pretty amazing over black. I love the contrast once the top coat goes on where you can see the little bits of black in there. It really makes the rainbow holographic sparkle. Now you're going to see in this nail when I hold it up to the light a lot of that purpley blue iridescent. It's absolutely beautiful. Next I'm going to use one of my favorites. It's called Ruby. Ruby is a blend of a dark holographic red mixed with a dark purple iridescent glitter. So it's just so cool the way it sparkles. It's kind of hard to describe. But same technique, loading my brush up, pressing it into that tacky layer. I'm going to use my finger to press it a little bit, and then I'm going to dust the excess off. This color, you could put it over black, you could put it over blue, you could put it over pink. It can go over pretty much anything, and it's going to impact the final outcome of the color. So it's a really fun one to play with because no matter what, it's going to sparkle like crazy. I'm going to skip the ring finger because I have something special that I'm going to demonstrate on the ring finger. But on the pinky finger, I'm going to demonstrate for you a nice soft little ombre look, which is good for people who aren't used to a lot of glitter. So I'm using the color Magi, and I'm just getting a little bit, and I'm going to use my Fuzzy Buddy brush, which I have on my web shop. And it's just a great brush for picking up really fine glitter and doing ombre effects. So I just picked it up and kind of went back and forth, and that was it. Loaded my brush one time, and that was all I needed. So lastly, I'm going to put a gel top coat on. You want to pick a gel top coat that's a little thick. The one from shellac is actually really great. I just don't happen to have it here, so I'm using another one. But you have a couple options here. You can put one coat, cure it in the light, bring it out. If you have any lumps or bumps, you can go ahead and just use a very fine buffer and then apply one more coat. Or for me, most of the time, if I just apply 2 coats, it's great. So I applied the first coat, I put it into the light and cured for maybe 10 seconds was all it needed. And now I have it back out and I'm adding my second coat to make sure that it's nice and thick. And this is going to take care of any little bumps or lumps or anything that would cause the nail to not be smooth. I'm going to put that in the light for one more cure, and then I'm going to bring it out and I'm going to wipe them all. For the technique I chose for the ring finger, I'm going to be using the Wildflowers Mini Magenta Detail Brush. I'm using it because it's kind of short, but it has a very precise point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buff the surface of this nail with a fine buffer. I'm making sure that there is no uneven surfaces. Sometimes the top coat will pool a little bit in one place and be a little heavy, so I'm just making sure that it's buffed perfectly and wiping it off. And I'm using a wet palette, which is a wet piece of something with water with a piece of parchment paper over top, and it keeps your paint wet for a really, really long time. And I'm using the Wildflowers Art Paints in Pitch and in bronzer. And the reason why I'm putting a little bronzer into my white isn't for the sparkle. The sparkle is not going to be seen. I'm just softening my white up a little bit so that it's not that really stark white, because I'm going to do some more detailing with a white and I want there to be contrast. So I'm just kind of mixing them together, and as you can see, it's softening the white color. And then as I use it, I'm actually going to mix it even with a little water. So I'm picking up some water in my brush and just scooting a little bit of this paint out and sort of blending it. I want a very sheer look, so a lot of water. And I'm sorry about the view, but when you're doing any type of swirls or curves with detail, you need to hold your brush perpendicular to the nail, which is why you're having a little bit of trouble seeing, because I'm literally holding it straight up and down and using the very tip of the brush to do my work. So I start with a C shape, and then I'm just going to curl some little swerves sort of around it, following the direction of the C. And that's really it. It dries really fast, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a gel top coat over it. Into the light, out, I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to be using a little bit of shellac. This one's called Cream Puff, it's the white, and I'm using the black detail brush from Wildflowers. This one's a longer, skinnier one, so it gives me some really, really skinny lines when I'm working, with curves and swirls. So I'm going to go ahead and load the brush up. And again, I'm holding it up almost perpendicular to the nail for a lot of this, so I do apologize. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but I'm just kind of outlining some of my swirls to do a highlight. And you'll notice the color contrast, because when I used the art paint, I mixed it with the water and I mixed a little bit of that bronzer color in it, so it really does look very sheer, almost like a lace would look. I'm not worried about doing this part thin. I actually want it a little bit thick. It's going to cure just fine because the lines are so thin, but I want some volume to it. I want it to almost look 3D because we're going to do a sanding technique or a sugaring technique on top of this. Now, you can use several things to do this technique, but it looks amazing with the white MicroLite holiday glitter, which is called Angel. So I'm just highlighting my little swirls here, and everywhere that I paint with the shellac, the surface is not sticky. We wipe the tacky layer off, so we're working on a completely smooth, not sticky surface. So everywhere this shellac goes, obviously the shellac is wet. So for the technique, what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to just sprinkle some of that angel into it, and it's going to give us a really beautiful look. So I'm going to move that out of my way, and here's the angel. It's the most beautiful blend. It's hard to even describe it. It's probably 6 different whites blended together, and it just sparkles so beautifully. So I'm going to sprinkle it on, not using a brush, don't want to squish our design. Tap off the excess, cure it, bring it out, and now I'm just using my brush to dust off the excess. And it's so gorgeous. It could be done for a wedding. It's a beautiful Christmas design. Be creative. But here are the beautiful holiday MicroLite glitters. Be sure to check out the Luxury Glitter Blends Holiday Collection. Here's just a sample of one of them. This one's called Snow. They're very chunky. I made a whole video of how to use them and encapsulate them into nails, so make sure you check that out. Thanks for watching.